The summer sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the quiet rural road. Marcus pedaled his old, worn-down bike, the basket rattling with the weight of a few well-worn library books. He hummed a tune, the melody blending with the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. It was a moment of peace in his otherwise busy life. As he rounded a bend, his eyes caught something out of place, a sleek, silver luxury car parked awkwardly on the roadside. Its hazard lights blinked in rhythmic frustration, and next to it, an older man in a sharp gray suit paced back and forth. His hair was neatly combed, his shoes polished to a mirror shine, but his expression was anything but composed. The man glanced at the flat tire, muttering angrily under his breath, before resuming his restless pacing. Marcus slowed his bike, unsure if he should stop. The car looked expensive, way out of his world, and the man's sharp suit made him seem even more unapproachable. But then Marcus noticed the tools strewn haphazardly near the tire. It was clear the man was out of his element. After a moment's hesitation, Marcus set his bike down on the side of the road and approached cautiously. Excuse me, sir. Need some help?" he asked, his voice steady despite the knot of nerves in his stomach. The man, startled, turned to him. His sharp blue eyes scanned Marcus from head to toe, as if assessing whether the boy could possibly be of any use. "Help? Do you even know what you're doing?" he asked, skepticism heavy in his tone. Marcus straightened his back. "I've fixed plenty of bikes, and even help with my uncle's truck. I know my way around tools. I can fix it if you want." The man hesitated, glancing between the flat tire and Marcus. Finally, with a sigh of resignation, he gestured toward the tools.
"Fine.
Be my guest." Marcus didn't waste a second. He rolled up his sleeves, examined the flat, and got to work. As he loosened the lug nuts and replaced the tire with practiced ease, he spoke casually about his passion for fixing things, how he loved figuring out how machines worked, and how one day he hoped to become an engineer. The man stood silently at first, watching Marcus's steady hands and confident movements. But as the boy spoke, a flicker of interest replaced the skepticism in his eyes. When Marcus tightened the last lug nut and stepped back, wiping his hands on his jeans, the man nodded slowly, impressed despite himself. "Not bad," the man admitted, pulling a business card from his pocket.
"Here.
"If you ever need anything, give me a call." He handed the card to Marcus, who stared at it for a moment before tucking it carefully into his pocket. "Thanks," Marcus said with a small smile, watching as the man climbed back into the car. The engine roared to life, and as the silver car disappeared down the road, Marcus stood there, staring at the empty space it left behind. He touched the card in his pocket, its edges sharp against his fingers. What would it be like to live the life of someone like that? To have wealth, power, and opportunity. The thought lingered in his mind as he picked up his bike and started pedaling home, the card burning like a spark of possibility. Stick around to see what happened next in Marcus's life after this unexpected encounter. Like and subscribe for more stories like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The sun had long set by the time Marcus reached home, the weight of the business card still lingering in his pocket. His small house was alive with the sound of his younger siblings laughing and his mother humming in the kitchen. Marcus leaned his bike against the porch, stepping inside to the familiar scent of dinner simmering on the stove. "Marcus, you're late." "Where were you?" his mother asked, wiping her hands on her apron. "Just at the library," Marcus replied, hesitating for a moment before pulling the card from his pocket. "And I helped this rich guy on the side of the road. He gave me this." He handed her the card. His mother frowned slightly as she read the embossed name. "Arthur Langston, CEO, Langston Enterprises." "And who is this?" Marcus shrugged. "Just some millionaire guy with a flat tire. Said to call him if I ever need anything." His mother raised an eyebrow, placing the card on the table. "Marcus, people don't hand out things like this for no reason. If he offered help, maybe you should take it." "Yeah, right," Marcus scoffed, grabbing a plate of food. What could someone like him possibly do for me? But as the evening wore on, Marcus found himself staring at the card on the table, the name and number practically daring him to make the call. He finally picked it up, retreating to his small room and sitting on the edge of his bed. His heart raced as he dialed the number, his mind filled with doubt. The line rang twice before a voice answered. Arthur Langston, came the crisp, professional tone. Hi, Mr. Langston? It's Marcus, the kid who helped you with your flat tire? Marcus's voice trembled slightly. There was a brief pause before Langston replied.
Yes.
Marcus. I was wondering when I'd hear from you. What can I do for you? I'm not sure. You said I could call if I needed anything. I just thought maybe. Marcus trailed off, feeling foolish. Langston's voice softened slightly. Tell you what, Marcus. Come by my office tomorrow. I'd like to show you around and hear more about you. Marcus's breath caught. Really? Your office?
Yes.
Be there at 10 a.m. sharp, Langston said, his tone firm but not unkind. Don't be late. The call ended, and Marcus sat there in stunned silence. Tomorrow, he'd step into a world he'd only seen in movies. He wasn't sure what to expect, but he knew one thing: this could be the start of something big. The next morning, Marcus stood in front of the towering glass building of Langston Enterprises, his heart pounding. Inside, he was greeted by sleek interiors, busy professionals, and the kind of luxury that felt light years away from his reality. Langston met him personally, shaking his hand and leading him through the company. Marcus's fascination grew with every room they visited: labs filled with cutting-edge technology, cars that seemed like they came from the future, and engineers working on designs Marcus couldn't have imagined. When Langston asked him what he thought of it all, Marcus nervously shared an idea he had about improving the efficiency of car tires. To his surprise, Langston listened intently, even taking notes. The CEO's approval gave Marcus a glimmer of confidence, and by the end of the tour, Langston made an offer that would change Marcus's life: a scholarship to one of the best engineering academies in the country. Stick around for the next chapter to see how Marcus navigates his new life at the academy. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this. You won't believe what's coming next. The academy loomed like a fortress of glass and steel, its pristine architecture reflecting a world far removed from Marcus's modest neighborhood. His mother had proudly dropped him off that morning, her smile hiding the worry she felt about him stepping into such an unfamiliar world. With his acceptance letter clutched in one hand and his backpack slung over his shoulder, Marcus stood at the entrance, staring at the bustling crowd of students. They were nothing like him. Dressed in designer clothes, carrying the latest gadgets, and speaking with the effortless confidence of kids who had never worried about where their next meal would come from, they made Marcus feel like an outsider. His thrift store jeans and secondhand sneakers felt like a neon sign broadcasting that he didn't belong. Classes began, and Marcus quickly discovered he wasn't just keeping up, he was excelling. His natural curiosity and love for problem-solving gave him an edge in subjects like physics and engineering. But success in the classroom didn't shield him from the whispers and sidelong glances in the hallways. "Did you hear he's some charity case?" one boy muttered loudly as Marcus walked past. "Probably doesn't even know how to use half the equipment here." Marcus clenched his fists, biting back a response. He knew he couldn't afford to let their words distract him. But it wasn't easy. During lunch, he sat alone, his tray untouched as he stared out the window. For the first time since Langston had offered him this opportunity, he wondered if he'd made a mistake by accepting it. One afternoon, after a particularly rough day, Marcus decided to call Langston. The man picked up immediately, his voice calm and steady. "What's on your mind, Marcus?" Langston asked. Marcus hesitated, then blurted, "I don't think I belong here. These kids, they're smarter, richer, and they act like I'm just a joke." Langston was silent for a moment before responding. "You think I didn't feel the same way when I started out? I grew up with nothing, Marcus. I walked into boardrooms where no one believed I deserved to be there. You know what I did?"
"What?"
Marcus asked quietly. "I outworked them. I let my results do the talking. Let them doubt you, Marcus. But don't you dare doubt yourself." Those words stayed with Marcus. The next day, he walked into class with his head held high. He ignored the stares and focused on what he came to do: learn. Slowly but surely, he began to prove himself. His teachers noticed his dedication, and a few students started to respect his skills, even if they didn't say it out loud. By mid-semester, an announcement shook the academy. A national engineering competition was being held, offering a chance for students to showcase their ideas. The prize? A substantial scholarship and the opportunity to have their project funded by leading tech companies. Marcus felt a spark ignite inside him. This was his chance not just to prove himself, but to show everyone that he belonged. That evening, he stayed late in the school lab, sketching out ideas inspired by his roadside encounter with Langston. He envisioned a device that could detect tire damage and assist drivers in fixing flats quickly and safely. It was ambitious, but Marcus felt a surge of excitement. This could be the project that changed everything. Like and subscribe for more episodes of this incredible journey. You won't want to miss the next chapter. The competition announcement spread like wildfire across the academy, igniting excitement among the students. For Marcus, it wasn't just another opportunity, it was his chance to prove himself, to show the world that he belonged in this elite institution despite his humble beginnings. The competition's prize included funding for the winning project, a scholarship, and a chance to present the idea to industry leaders. Marcus couldn't let this opportunity slip through his fingers. Every evening, he stayed late in the school's engineering lab, sketching designs and tinkering with components. His project, inspired by his encounter with Langston, was a smart tire repair kit. The device could detect punctures, temporarily seal the damage, and guide drivers through repairs. It was an ambitious idea, and Marcus knew it wouldn't be easy to pull off. His classmates weren't subtle about their doubts. They sneered at his improvised materials and laughed at the rough edges of his prototype. "That's supposed to compete with us?" one boy asked mockingly as he walked past Marcus's workstation. Marcus gritted his teeth and stayed focused, pushing aside the negativity. He reminded himself of Langston's advice: outwork them. Let your results speak for themselves. Surprisingly, Olivia, one of the academy's top students, approached him in the lab one evening. "Your idea, it's actually really smart," she admitted. "If you need help refining it, I can lend a hand." Marcus hesitated, unsure if he could trust her, but he eventually agreed. Olivia's knowledge and feedback helped him refine his design, and their collaboration began to yield results. But just days before the competition, disaster struck. During a crucial test, the tire sealant mechanism failed, leaving Marcus frustrated and defeated. He sat in the empty lab that night, staring at his malfunctioning prototype and wondering if he should give up. The weight of his doubts felt heavier than ever. Finally, he called Langston. "Maybe I'm not cut out for this," Marcus admitted, his voice heavy with frustration. Langston didn't miss a beat. "Failure is part of the process, Marcus," he said. "The real question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let it stop you, or are you going to push forwards?" Those words reignited Marcus's determination. He spent the next 2 nights fixing the sealant system and improving his prototype. When the day of the competition arrived, he was ready, even if his design wasn't as polished as the others. The exhibition hall buzzed with energy as contestants presented their projects. Marcus felt out of place among the sleek prototypes and professional-grade materials, but when it was his turn, he stepped onto the stage with confidence. He demonstrated his smart tire repair kit, explaining how it worked and why it was a game-changer for road safety. The judges watched intently, their initial skepticism giving way to genuine interest. By the end of his presentation, the room erupted in applause. Marcus left the stage feeling a mix of pride and relief. Later that evening, the winners were announced. When Marcus's name was called for first place, he froze, unable to believe what he'd just heard. As he walked to the stage to accept his award, he felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. He had done it despite the doubts, the setbacks, and the odds stacked against him. The victory wasn't just about the prize. It was validation that he belonged, that his hard work and determination had paid off. As he held the trophy, Marcus thought of how far he'd come and how much further he could go. Winning the competition opened doors Marcus had never imagined. Investors were eager to collaborate with him to develop his smart tire repair kit, and he began working on bringing his idea to market. But even as his star rose, Marcus never forgot where he came from or the people who had supported him along the way. With Langston's mentorship and support, Marcus decided to use part of his winnings to give back to his community. He launched a program offering free workshops for kids interested in engineering and mechanics. The workshops provided tools, mentorship, and resources that Marcus himself had never had growing up. Seeing the excitement in the kids' faces reminded Marcus of why he had started this journey in the first place. His program became a beacon of hope in the struggling community. Kids who once felt limited by their circumstances now saw Marcus as living proof that success was possible. Marcus made it a point to share his story whenever he could, reminding them that their dreams were within reach if they were willing to work for them. Years later, Marcus stood on a stage in a packed auditorium, addressing a group of young engineers and innovators. Langston, now a close friend and mentor, sat in the front row, watching proudly. Marcus shared the story of his journey, from fixing a flat tire on the roadside to creating a life-changing invention. "The most important thing I've learned," Marcus said, his voice steady, "is that success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about what you give back." The room erupted in applause, and Marcus felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The boy who had once doubted his place in the world was now a leader, an innovator, and a role model. As the applause died down, Marcus and Langston unveiled the latest version of the Smart Tire Repair Kit. It was a product that was now being used worldwide, helping drivers stay safe on the road. Standing side by side, the two men represented what could happen when someone takes a chance on a young dreamer. That fateful roadside encounter had changed Marcus's life forever. And now, he was determined to change the lives of others, one opportunity at a time. Thank you for following Marcus's incredible journey. Like and subscribe for more inspiring stories you won't want to miss what's coming next.